to the next in our study of women of the Bible. Today we're returning to the Old Testament and to the book of Job, that most famous book on suffering. Today we're looking at both Job's wife and Job's daughters. So Job's wife must have been under a great deal of stress as the catastrophic events unfolded upon her and, of course, her husband. As the wife of a righteous and wealthy man. Prosperity may cover a multitude of sins, but adversity uncovers them. While the flames of hardship distilled Job's true motives, they surfaced his wife's impure ones. Satan's prediction to God was that if calamity befell Job, he would surely curse you to your face, according to Job chapter 1 and verse 11, also Job chapter 2 and verse 5. Is it mere coincidence when his own wife makes the suggestion, "Do you still hold fast to your integrity? Curse God and die." Job chapter 2 and verse 9. Often those who are closest to a person can be used by Satan to discourage and divert them from the path of faith. Job asked his wife, "Surely we indeed accept good from God? And shall we not accept adversity?" Job chapter 2 and verse 10. Can we trust God for the good, but not for the bad that comes into our lives? Is God still in control, even when adversity hits? How do we accept adversity from God, even if Satan is directly behind it? Can we be shaken by the adverse circumstances, yet be confident that God is still in control and has our best interest at heart? What is the difference between true faith and mere superstition? All of these questions are profound and important and come to the fore through the book of Job. A person who trusts God only in the good times, but not the bad, is fooling herself, himself, myself, about trust in God. Job called his wife a foolish woman. Job chapter 2 and verse 10. Job's wife failed her husband at a time when he needed her support the most, making his suffering even greater as he faced it alone. Although he tried to correct her thinking, whether or not she repented is not recorded. She was not named with the three friends who, in the end, needed to repent, make an offering to God, and ask Job to pray for them. Perhaps she listened to Job's correction, or perhaps, as Job's wife, she was under her husband's righteous cover. We assume that she was the mother of the subsequent children born after Job's restoration, since, by all indications, Job was monogamous. What Job really needed was comfort and compassion. Unfortunately, when a wife feels threatened by insecurity and instability, she can become consumed with her own fears and is unable to find the strength and courage to be affirming and compassionate. On the one hand, Job's wife was an ordinary, normal woman who failed to meet her husband's needs in an hour of adversity. On the other hand, she remained at her husband's side and endured her own affliction with him, losing children and possessions, and yet surviving. Our attention now turns to Job's daughters. They too must have lived a life of privilege and honour, even among their brothers. They were regularly invited to join their brothers in family feasts, and their father regularly interceded for their sins, known or unknown. However, when Satan began to try Job, all the children were killed, as the roof literally crushed them during a banquet. When Job had come through the trials, God restored to him everything he had lost twofold, except for the number of his children. Job was given the same number of children he originally had, 7 sons and 3 daughters. Of the new children Job was given, only the 3 daughters were mentioned by name. Jemima means turtle dove, a name that was often used of a bride, describing her fine form and lovely voice. Keziah was the name of a fragrant plant, cassia, which was a prized variety of cinnamon. Keren Happuch was a horn of eye paint, usually black, that was used to draw attention to a woman's eyes. This was probably the equivalent of modern-day eyeliner. These daughters were known for their beauty. The naming of the daughters rather than the sons was unusual, as was the fact that Job's daughters were given an inheritance along with their brothers. According to Israelite law, daughters were allowed to inherit if there were no sons. Numbers 27, 1-11, Numbers 36, 1-13. Thus, Job's gift of an inheritance to his daughters is a special act of grace. This inheritance would allow the daughters to remain in the midst of the family with their brothers and to continue the close, affectionate relationships that existed among them. Some commentators speculate that such an inheritance was a sign of Job's new great wealth, while others thought it was a sign of a new generosity that came out of his sufferings. Still another has suggested that it was a sign of gratitude for his new family. Certainly, throughout his ordeal, Job had learned to go beyond the letter of the law to the author of the law, who, in the end, did not pay Job wages deserved, but rewarded Job according to his grace. Thanks very much.